Here they come in the SK Modified 100, presented by Comfort Systems USA. Quality people, building solution. Our honorary starter, the president of Comfort Systems, Dave Lanfar, the president. Here they come, and they're underway.
Down into turn number one, it is Eric Burt. Nice tight line to the bottom of the racetrack. Itella will drift up top to the hill. Can't do it this time. As they head down the back straightaway, it is Burt who leads him down in turn three.
It's been nothing but hard luck for Burt to this point. Can he turn it around tonight with a big win? As he leads the pack after lap number one, we have a caution.
Caution comes out on the field as car number 09 sets stop to the top side of the racetrack down in turn two. That's the Jay Miller race car, son of Ray Miller. Here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, appears that possibly a problem with the machine as it came to a screeching halt beneath the CarQuest markings of the TechNet Professional billboard in turn two. Looks like a flat right front tire on the number 09 car, Raleigh. Yes, it is.
Yes. Our thanks, by the way, we want to give a big thank you to Bosco Fowler for making the music CD for our fireworks tonight. A real fine presentation, and Bosco Fowler certainly did his job well, and we thank him very much.
Well, 2 laps of the 100 laps are now complete. We're under a yellow flag situation. Starter Tony Lucky is telling the field to be in single file formation. Then they'll double the field back up. The pace car just picks up the leader. That's car number 54 of the North End Auto Parts machine. Now, Eric Burt has had, as Raleigh pointed out, one of the most difficult seasons ever here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. It has been literally no luck at all for a very talented young driver. Started his racing career in quarter midget racing. He has accomplished a lot in a very short time. He'll tell you that his teacher was Teddy Christopher, and he carries a lot of the markings and the style of Teddy Christopher in his approach of running hard and being very competitive. Eric Burt leads the event as they come back to the line. The third lap will flick off here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Jay Miller makes it on to pit road. A quick change of that tire, hopefully quick for him. Eddie Avery, please report to the main gate immediately. Eddie Avery to the main gate immediately, please. Now let's go down to Kyle Rickey.
All right, thank you very much, Raleigh. Jay Miller has made it to pit lane, and he is in his pit stall. They go to work on the right side. They're going to change a flat right front on the Miller car, and he'll be down and away here in just a moment.
Remember now, it's Mike Christopher behind the wheel of the number 13 tonight. Meanwhile, our point leader, Bo Gunning, is moving very well early in the early going of this one. 3 laps complete, and Gunning now runs in the number 7 position. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gentleman, as well as Chuck Doherty right alongside of the number 78, our number 2-point man. So things are really heating up in the early going, but still a long way to go, Ben.
Sure is. 97 laps still remaining in this event. The lights are off on the safety vehicle at the point. Burt on the inside. Brad Hitella. We called him Mr. Outside early during the course of 2002. He ran the top of the racetrack like he was running on rails. Tonight, will he be able to do the same? He's in the outside row as they come off turn number 4. Nice picture-perfect start.
Burt on the inside with the slight edge going into turn number 2, but Hitala trying to string right along with him. Meanwhile, a good battle going on for that number 3 spot between the 00 of Jimmy Williams and the 23 of the blue machine of Larry Ross.
Ross doing a fine job setting back in that 4 spot. Here comes Johnny Lobo. Remember a week ago, this young man went by Teddy Christopher. Now he's looking to move in to be among the top 6 cars. The point leader moves in. Bo Gunning looking strong. Car number 17 glued to the back bunker of Doug Colby as they come off turn number 4. Back to the stripe. That's the battle just into the top 5.
And it appears Mr. Gunning is not wasting any time at all, although this is a long race. Black flag issued for Jay Miller as well as for John Sandberg in the 27. Now pressure for the lead. Eric Burt feels the heat from the 9 of Brad Hitala.
Hitala right there setting in second. He's all over the back bumper of Burt. Meanwhile, look a little further back. Battle for 5th. Larry Ross, the aviation specialist, is holding off the opposition from Bo Gunning. Here comes Chuck Doherty. Doherty goes into a 4-wheel drift, gathers it back, and Donnie Travlin is now there. Cravlin sitting among the top 7. He looks good. Down the back straightaway, look at Hightower. Bonsai move to the bottom, down to turn 3.
Good racing action right on through the pack. They're really battling it out here in the early going. A surprising development. Now Gunning looks to the inside. However, the door is shut by Larry Ross. So Gunning at the moment stays in his number 6 spot. He's followed by the 19 of Donnie Travelin and Doherty right there now, trying to close the gap in the white number 78.
As they come off turn number 4 and back down to the line, here's Hightower. He's pulling it out of line.
And it's Hightower trying to track down Burt, unsuccessful again. And look at Bo Gunning. He's putting all kinds of pressure on Larry Ross at 23, but is unable to make anything happen.
Brad Hightower's got a race car that he can put both high and low on the half mile. He is literally awesome coming off the turn, big power to boot, and right there with him is Doug Colby with car number 2. Up to the 4 spot, the 00 of Williams, and there's that dogfight battle map that we were talking about. Bo Gunning's right there with Larry Ross.
And Donnie Travelin in car number 19 is in the neighborhood. You know, early in the season, Brad Hightower was Mr. Outside. He changed his tactics early on and became Mr. Inside, and tonight, he's both.
He sure is, and that's what we're seeing at the point. Right here, it is still Eric Burt, but the big question is for how long? Burt has got a mirror full of blue and yellow, and I'll tell you, this is the strongest we've seen Hightower run in a while. He's going for the lead down to the bottom of turn 1. Raleigh, will he have it?
And it's a tight one coming out of turn number 2. Good bite for Hightower, and he does take the top spot away from Burt. However, closing in to make it a 3-way battle, Colby is right there looking for an opening. Matt?
Doug Colby trying to exploit the hole that Hightower opened, but it looks like he doesn't have enough firepower to get even with Burt. And Eric hanging on in car number 54.
In 14 laps, there have been only 2 different leaders, but the battle among the top 10 has been literally described in one word, and that is awesome. Here comes Burt back to life as he comes back down to the line. Colby thinks twice of it. He'll make a bid down low.
For those of you here last week, you saw a great performance by Johnny Lobo in the number 30. Trouble up in turn number 1. Bobby Drown and Gary Pelletier come together.
Gary Malone is also involved in the mix-up. He gets away. Frank Rocco pulls away as well, but there's 2 white cars to the top side of the racetrack. We'll check and see exactly who they are. One car definitely, Matt, the number 14 of Bobby Drown.
Yes, and the other is Gary Pelletier in the 87. Hopefully they'll both be able to continue. I was starting to say that Johnny Lobo had such a great run and really a great battle with Ted Christopher last week, and once again tonight he's showing a very impressive run. He sits in 9th place at the moment.
Johnny Lobo said today, we were talking to him in the paddock area, and he said after that race, took him till about 3 or 4 in the morning to get to sleep. He was so pumped up. He said he felt like it was just a win because this was the first time his car ever responded the way he wanted it to. They completely overhauled the engine during the off-season, a new engine, a lot more power. And Johnny Lobo has shown early on in this race that he knows how to take advantage of it.
Well, it is now 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. 16 of the 100 laps are into the record books. Caution comes out on the field. 2 cars spun, made minor contact with the wall. That's the Pelletier machine and the number 14 of Bobby Drown. In 14 laps, there were only 2 different leaders in the event. Car number 54 that started on the pole for Eric Burt and the number 9 machine for Brad Hightower. Now, Brad Hightower has been among the quickest cars in the top 10, pulled off a great run, both high and low on the racetrack. That car's really working its groove here tonight, and he can put the machine wherever he wants to in this racetrack. Back in the 3rd spot is Doug Colby. Now, Colby won on Sizzler Weekend with the number 2 car, the Extra Mart convenience store sponsored race car. This is Colby's first season behind the wheel of this race car, and he'll tell you he's had some great moments of brilliance, but he's had some tough times as well. He'll tell you the toughest point of this racetrack for him to get used to is coming off turn number 4. Let's check in with Kyle Rickey.
Lanahan just in pit road in car number 08. It looks like they adjusted the tire pressure on the right rear of his machine. Gary Pelletier has also made it to the pit lane in car number 97 as they go to work on the left side of his entry down here. It looks like a little bit of Nerf bar damage. Nothing too serious as Pelletier continues to sit on pit road here.
And then up to the 4th spot is car number 00. That's the Dunkin' Donuts Cool Colada machine. The driver, of course, is James Williams. Williams has not been strong in the top 5 early this season, but is now starting to make his presence felt as he sets in position number 4. Larry Ross, the aviation pilot, is 5th, and he's being pressured heavily by the number 17 of Bo Gunning. Now, Bo Gunning leads the point standings going into tonight's event. Interesting story. Earlier today, we were told by Gunning and company that they chose not to go to Richmond International Speedway with the Featherlight Modified Series car, but to stay here at Stafford. That's kind of an interesting story all by itself, Matt.
Well, it means that he is serious about running for the Stafford Championship this year. He's won a championship twice, in 1983 and then 16 years later in 1998. So it was a long time between victory cigars for Bo Gunning. And he says he was talking before the race about his career. You know, he's won a lot of trophies, track championships, but he says the only souvenirs that he has hanging in his house are 3 trophies for most popular driver. And he says those most popular driver trophies mean more to him than anything that he's ever won on the racetrack because he's worked hard to get them. You know, he started out as kind of a villain here at Stafford.
Sure did.
He turned the fans around in his favor with some great sportsmanship and, of course, his never give up attitude.
Sure has the good guy, the bad guy, Bo Gunning, the black hat or the white hat. Well, tonight he's looking to move to the front and expand to that point lead. As they come off turn number 4, they doubled him back up, and we're about ready to go green. It is Brad Hietala who does an impressive job. Leads him down to the bottom of turn number 1. Look a little further back in the competition. You see Chuck Doherty is now there. There's Donnie Travlin. We've talked about Travlin a lot, Matt, this season. He's overdue for his first victory here at Stafford in the SK Modifieds. Trouble now, Willie Hardy goes around. Billy Anderson is involved in the mix-up. No fault of his own. We're back to yellow.
A great restart by Brad Hietala, no question about it. Too bad for his sake the things couldn't keep rolling. He was moving along very, very nicely, but it appears that Hardy may have been caught up in his own fluids. He's diving behind the wall, and he collected Billy Anderson as he went spinning, and Anderson is also heading right behind the wall, and Kyle Rickey will track them down to see what may be transpiring there. You can see a long stream of liquid starting at about the Mark's Auto Parts Auto Recyclers billboard sign, and our crew is right on the scene to tackle that little chore and see what they can do.
At the start of the 2002 season, Willie Hardy had a similar situation that took place when his car lost a hose during the early laps of the competition, spun, came back out, but they were unable to make up the valuable time that they lost. That car sitting behind on pit road. A lot of changes for that team during the offseason.
He went to a Troyer chassis car, a new crew chief, but you talk about being snake bit, and it's like he's seen more snakes than you used to see on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, because he's been bitten everywhere you can be bit. And the same script holds through tonight as he is behind the wall on lap 21.
Well, the field under single file formation. They're checking out the racing surface itself before we should be ready to resume. We should take note of the fact that car number 85, Eddie Spires, that visited CarQuest Victory Lane just 1 week ago, is pulling to the inside of the leader while under yellow. That's an indication that he's looking to head back down on pit road. Kyle Rickey will be checking on that situation and several others. Jim Larson, the number 45 car, one of the closest finishes we've seen, came about in the running of a consolation event here earlier. Let's check back in with Kyle Rickey.
Down here behind the wall with Willie Hardy and Billy Anderson. Hardy's car, actually, they're pumping fluids back into the number 7. Not a lot of damage to his machine. It looks like they're trying to get that car back out onto the speedway as soon as possible. Billy Anderson, the right front peeled back on car number 89, so he may be behind the wall here for a couple of more circuits as they have the brand new right front ready to go on the car. Willie Hardy just fires up. He's about to head back onto the speedway. Guys?
Willie Hardy looking to come back out and rejoin in the competition. Perhaps the same situation that happened at the beginning of the season, Matt.
It could be, as Willie Hardy has had some tough luck. Meanwhile, back in the pack, we see Mike Christopher unofficially in 11th place. Mike Christopher driving the car normally driven by his brother, Ted. And he said before the race, the car was good at his first warm-up, off in the second, but they made a good adjustment. And he said the car was really feeling good. And he made a prediction before the race. He said he was going to win it. And he's won many track championships here at Stafford, so you can't count him out.
You certainly can. And, of course, if you've seen any of our footage, that is on NASCAR New England, you know that when Ted Christopher visited Victory Lane, he had a little youngster with him, his nephew, which is the son of Mike Christopher, and he's looking to be in Victory Lane again here tonight.
Mike Christopher Jr. has been with Ted on back-to-back occasions on Twin 40-lap feature night, and maybe he'll be there again tonight. He still has a long way to go, Mike Christopher does, only 22 laps. I'd have to say the early story so far in this one, Ben, is the way Brad Hightower is driven. The month of June has not been kind to him, but he really looks solid tonight.
He sure does. That car comes off the turn so strong. He gets tremendous forward bite with the race car. Hightower is an outstanding welder and fabricator by trade. The entire Hightower family have done their share of building and fabricating over the years, and they've got this car really dialed in. Green flag is out.
Another excellent restart for Hightower. He jumps right out there. And still Eric Byrne holding that number 2 spot, but keep an eye on that battle for third. Kobe in the black number 2. And certainly right alongside Jimmy Williams doing a good job also in the 00.
James Williams loves these long-distance races. He says the longer, the better. And he's in good early position in 4th place, tucked right behind the 2 of Doug Kobe.
Look at that outside move by Bo Gunning. That is the toughest way around this racetrack. First off, when you're out there in the upper groove, and I mean he's way up there on the track, anything can happen in that location. Now he'll run alongside of Williams. Larry Ross comes back in to contend. Throw a blanket over the top 7 as they head down into turn 3.
What a move by Gunning. Made a quick switch of lanes, cut right in front of Larry Ross, and moves up another notch into 4th place in the white number 17.
So Gunning is on a crusade, no question about that. Now Doug Kobe trying to put some heat on the back bumper of Brad Hightower. Look at Gunning. Gunning for the number 3 position. Does he have enough power to get by?
Yes,
and it looks like he does.
He does. Coming off turn number 4, Williams tries to be the tail that wags the dog. It doesn't happen here yet. Now he'll try to put the pedal to the metal. He'll take over the 4th spot. Further back, here comes Mike Christopher. He's alongside Donnie Travlin. Mike Christopher and brother Teddy's, Jimmy Galante's race car, is now found a home among the top 7. He's working over. The number 23 of Larry Ross. Up the hill goes Christopher. Mike Christopher, that is. He pulls it back into line. He's quick, Matt.
Well, it looks like Gunning and Christopher can run the high groove as well as the bottom groove. Their cars are set up perfectly tonight.
And another man you fellows mentioned earlier had himself a good car going tonight is Tucker Reynolds. He's in the white number 34, and he's just about sitting just outside the top 10, but moving very, very strong indeed.
Well, that's been happening back towards the front of the field. Lap number 30 just clicks off on the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. And Brad Hightower has got the bumper, the front bumper of car number 2 literally glued to his back bumper. Bo Gunning is moving in. Now 3 cars have pulled away from the opposition. Here comes Kobe. That's the turn 4 portion of the racetrack that Kobe says he is the most concerned about here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Closes in once again to the rear bumper of Hightower. And Gunning sitting right there looking for that opening. As the laps clicking by now, we'll be coming up to complete lap 32. And off the turn they come. Kobe looking to the inside of Hightower. Nope, gets back in line.
Even though this is a 100-lap race, patience for Bo Gunning is something you find in a hospital, not on a racetrack. He wants to get in front as quickly as possible. Then he can be the maestro and control the race. As you know, Ben, once Gunning gets in front, he is very good at maintaining that lead, a very difficult man to pass.
He sure is. He just made a move to the inside of Kobe. It didn't pay off this time, but believe you me, the pressure is already on. And what about Brad Hightower? For 33 circuits, he has driven a flawless race so far. He guards the inside lane. Here comes Kobe. He'll make the challenge.
But a good spurt down the front stretch puts Hightower right back in that catbird seat. Off the turn they come, and here's Kobe with the move to the inside. Let's see if he can complete it this time.
Kobe looks like he has a dynamite on the bottom groove, trying to buzz underneath Hightower. They streak across the stripe, and a new leader.
Well, it is almost, close. But yes, now Doug Kobe does have it. third leader of the event. Deuce is wild. It is car number 2. Hightower drops back to second. Bo Gunning right there in third. 4 car lanes separate the third and the fourth place car. That's James Williams in fourth. 54. Early leader Eric Burnt is in the 5th spot. 6th is Larry Ross. 7th, Mike Christopher. 8th, Donnie Travlin. 9th, Chuck Jocherty. And Gary Paganelli sets among the top 10.
Off the turn they come. Problems for Kurt Lenahan, way off the pace, heading for pit road. Also, Frank Rocco goes behind the wall in the blue number 97. Now, once again, a move a little further back. Here comes Eric Burnt looking to make the move on Williams. Into the turn they go side by side. Williams edges ahead as they come out of turn number 4. Great battle going on for that number 4 spot.
Good determination by Williams so far to hang on to that number 4 position, as Burnt is doing everything but blindfolding him coming down the front straightaway. And one driver I think we could keep an eye on, he finished in the top 4 the last 3 races, Ronnie Silk. Right now he's back in the pack, currently running 13th, but he's still got 60 laps to go.
He's doing a fine job. He's being very cautious, and that must be his strategy in this event. 39 of the 100 laps are now complete in the record books. Back to the front of the field, not to the point, but back for the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot. We've got Eric Burnt tangled up with the Larry Ross machine. Donnie Travlin is also involved. He'll stop to the inside of the racetrack, and we've got another yellow coming out for the 54 of Eric Burnt and the number 19, the Cozy Shack Puddings machine for Donnie Travlin. There's a heartbreaking situation for 2 young, talented drivers.
Absolutely, costing them very, very solid positions on the racetrack. Definitely both were contenders in this one until that particular incident. We mentioned Ronnie Silk just a few minutes ago. Ronnie, delighted to have one of his sponsors on hand tonight from Chandler Security Systems. So he's doing his best to put on a good show, I'm sure, for his sponsor, and doing very nicely, running a smooth race.
Lap number 40, let's set the field for you. The leader is car number 2. There have been 3 different leaders so far. It is Doug Colby, who's currently in the number 1 spot. Setting in second, the number 9 of Brad Hightower. 3rd spot is Bo Gunning, the number 17. 4th spot, James Williams, the 00. 5th spot, Mike Christopher, the 13. 6th spot, the number 78 of Chuck Doherty. 7th spot, Gary Paganelli with the number 21 car. 8th spot, the 30 of John Lobo. 9th spot, the 34 of Tucker Reynolds. And just into the top 10, the number 83. And that, of course, is the number 83 for Ronnie Silk, just out of the top 10.
We have to remember now at the 50 lap mark, thanks to Cliff Nelson and Electrical Contractors Incorporated, the leader at that point will receive $150 in bonus money. So that's a little something to shoot for. And the good folks presenting our race tonight, Comfort Systems USA of Hartford, will be giving an additional $200 to the winner. So that's another incentive for our lads to shoot for, certainly.
So we'll continue to run down our field. Currently in 11th, Kerry Malone. Then it's Frank Wainwright. Then the 22 of Lloyd Agor. The 18 of Jeff Burrell. The 20 of Sean Triron. And the 57 of Maymill Downey. As let's go downstairs and check out what Kyle Rickey has to say.
Donnie Travlin just made a quick stop on pit road. Heat race winner earlier this evening. Caught up in the incident in turn number 4. Eric Burnt also remaining in his pit box at the further end of pit road as Travlin is down and away, as are Eric Burnt, Billy Anderson now pulling away from his pit, Eddie Spires and Tommy Bowles all making stops here on lap number 42.
As Kyle just pointed out, gentlemen, Eric Burnt is back out in the race on the track, and he had a very humble goal to start the race. He said because his luck has been so bad this year, he just wanted to do one thing tonight, run 100 laps. And unfortunately, he ran into a little incident off the 4th turn, and his bad luck has kicked in again for the driver from Meriden, Connecticut.
Well, off turn number 4 this time by, they're being given the clenched green flag. Jay Miller's car limping down the pit road as we speak. So when they come back to the line, they'll be looking for the green. Doug Colby on the inside of the front row. Brad Hightower, Bo Gunning, James Williams in row number 2. Larry Ross, Mike Christopher, 78 of Chuck Doherty, and the 34 machine for Tucker Reynolds.
Boy, a lot of drama packed into this race already, and we're not even at the halfway point. Doug Povey has done a great job. Brad Hightower, he hung on to the lead for just about as long as he could. Lurking in the neighborhood is Bo Gunning and James Williams. He says these 100-lap races suit his driving style perfectly. He loves the extra distance events, so he has what he wants, a good position right now in fourth, but he is starting alongside a very tough and aggressive driver, Bo Gunning.
Car number 96, Kurt Brainerd's also been in and out of the pit area as we speak, but off turn number 4. The lights are off on the safety vehicle as they work their way beneath the root towers, coming down and looking for the start. CarQuest action from the Stafford Motor Speedway as we're about ready to go back to race conditions. Off turn number 4, the green is back out.
A good start, and look at Hightower once again. Kobe appeared to have a slight problem getting up through the gearbox. Hightower took advantage and resumes the lead.
And resuming his way into third place is Bo Gunning. Williams gave him a challenge. Now Larry Ross and Gunning make contact. Gunning spins. He gets bumped, I believe, by Pelletier. And Gunning is in a tango off of turn 4. Point leader in trouble.
Trouble as well is car number 78 for Chuck Doherty. He became a victim of circumstances. Had no place to go, but it was Gunning who literally did a 360 right in the middle of the front pack of cars. Burrill was also involved in the altercation. It appears that Emil Downey's car is one of the cars that still remains stranded on the racetrack. Gunning is able to pull away, and Lloyd Agard machine is the other car, car number 22. So see how quickly it all can change here. Just shy of the halfway point in this event. As Bo Gunning was right there, Raleigh, when all of a sudden, with a little help perhaps.
Yes, it appeared he got a bit of an assist. He tried to salvage it and was doing the job, but then just with little contact, around he went. Chuck Doherty also involved in that, and he's on to pit road. Eric Burnt back in, and here's Gunning. He appeared to be okay, but apparently since the caution is out and he'll be in the back of the field having help bring out that caution, he figures maybe it's time to check things out since they still have 54 laps remaining.
Yes, that's a silver lining surrounding the dark cloud of Bo Gunning. He has 54 laps to work his way to the front as we work our way down to Kyle Rickey.
Yeah, things busy here at the far end of pit road. Bo Gunning is in along with Chuck Doherty as they go to work on the right front of Doherty's car. The right front towed out, and Bo Gunning's left rear was down a moment ago. That tire changed, and Gunning looks like he's going to be down and away here in just a moment. Car number 17.
Well, work still continues. It appears that Doherty's car will make it back out. Suspension damage, still the story on that one. You can see the car literally leaning heavily as the right front suspension apparently will need additional work done. Burrill also. Here comes Doherty. He's coming back to the front of the field to try to get back down on pit road. Tough situation for Chuck Doherty. He had no place to go, a victim of circumstances, and literally, as cars went sliding down through the center of the infield, they made additional contact and literally rode up on the Doherty race car.
Chuck Doherty was driving a very smart race up into that point. He knew he had a lot of laps to go, so he was doing a nice job at car number 78, but unfortunately, he ran into a little turbulence.
Well, here's some additional information. They are still under a rain delay at Richmond International Speedway on lap number 57. The leader on lap number 57, ready for this, is Todd Zegedy. Under a rain situation, Mike Stefanik sets in second. Teddy Christopher is third. Jerry Marquis is fourth. David Bergman is fifth. And Ricky Fuller is sixth. That's 57 laps in under a rain delay and holding from Richmond International Speedway for the Featherlight Modified Series. Riley?
Well, the word is out. The gentleman who tangled with Bo Gunning to set off that incident in the turn 4 area, Larry Ross in car 23, has been put to the rear of the field for rough riding. So that's the story on that one. The number 23 running a good race, but got tangled with Gunning and deemed rough riding, and to the rear goes Larry Ross.
Well, down in pit road, Larry Ross coming down in pit road as we speak with him. Emil Downey and Billy Anderson has been in and out of pit road. Kerry Malone also looking to return to the competition. Off turn number 4, clenched yellow and green flags in the hands of Tony Leckie. We're about ready to go back to green. Leader, Extra Mart Convenience Store, Spafco Chassis race car for Doug Colby. Brad Hietala had a nice run, Raleigh, that last time on the initial restart.
Oh, his restarts have been magnificent. He has just taken off from no matter who is alongside. Let's see if he can do it again. As this now will be Doug Colby, who is shown as our leader. And this should be a good battle. Last time Hietala got him, but let's see what happens this time.
John Lobo has also worked his way among the top 6 cars, and Matt Lobo's turning in another run here that is superior in tonight's presentation.
And how?
Obviously, that wasn't an optical illusion last week, as Lobo is picking up right where he left off.
Also, we should mention another car that's been very strong here tonight is the Paganelli Construction Company, number 21 for Enfield, Connecticut's Paganelli. He's been very strong, a little bit rusty. Said he retired from racing for a while, came back, said it was a lot tougher than he thought, but tonight he's showing some muscle.
Yeah, he is showing some toughness. One driver we want to point out, Frank Wainwright, who's currently running unofficially in the number 9 spot. Remember, our 2 point leaders, Bo Gunning and Chuck Doherty, were involved in that incident. They had to go in the pits. Frank Wainwright started the night 8 points behind Bo Gunning, so he has a golden opportunity to pick up ground, and so does Ronnie Silk. Silk riding along in the 8th spot. Remember, he started the festivities only 16 points out of the top spot, so we could have some changes as Doherty and Gunning will have to fight their way back from the rear.
Chuck Doherty has been in and out of pit road. The story is damage to the right front suspension. You can literally see how the car is leaning on the right side, and he is trying to not lose any laps in the competition here. They're just 1 lap shy of the halfway point in this 100-lap event.
And Doug Colby will be our halfway leader and thereby pick up the $150 bonus provided by Cliff Nelson and Electrical Contractors Incorporated. All right, gentlemen, here they come. The field tightens up and we're ready for the restart.
Remember, Brad Hietala has timed these perfectly. Can he do it again? Tony Leckie eyes the field over. The pace car has left the premises. The spotlight is on the drivers, and once again, it shines the brightest on Brad Hietala.
Down to the bottom of turn number 1, Hietala has done his homework. He sets up front, leading the class of heavy contenders down into turn number 3.
And look at Johnny Lobo again. However, on the outside groove coming on strong, Ronnie Silk putting on a show for his sponsors from Chandler Securities. And Hietala now starting to stretch out his lead. Look at this man go, but look who's riding in 3rd place and moving up quickly in the battle for 2nd. Mike Christopher aboard the Mystique Motorsports number 13.
Christopher is sitting on Colby's lap, and now he muscles his way past the 2 car and takes over 2nd place. Mike Christopher, one of his rare appearances at Stafford in 2002, but it looks like he hasn't forgotten anything, Ben.
It certainly is the story there. Mike Christopher runs on rails. He is now all over the back bumper of Brad Hietala. Doug Colby sets back in the 3rd spot, and here is Ronnie Silk. Raleigh mentioned it earlier. Look at Silk come to the front. Dogfight battle with Williams as they head down in turn 3.
And here is Williams with a great move, a bonsai move into turn 3, taking the spot back away from Silk. Then the old chrome horn is working as Silk is right on the back bumper of Williams coming into turn 2.
As Silk is hanging on the back of that Williams car like shoe polish, now he ducks underneath. Good move by Williams to keep his spot. Meanwhile, the top 3 putting some real estate between themselves and the rest of the field.
It is a great battle going on up front, but there's another battle to take note of, and that's the battle as Bo Gunning has come from the back of the pack and is coming through the traffic with a vengeance with the white number 17. Back up front, here comes Christopher. Mike Christopher moves to the inside. He'll make a challenge for the lead down to the bottom of turn 1.
Can't quite complete it. Hietala holding him off that time, but Mike Christopher right back there on that back bumper, hanging tight, just like Mama's lasagna does to my ribs, I'll tell you. Off the turn they come, and Hightower leading the way.
And it's Ronnie Silk has managed to get by James Williams and now has taken over the number 4 spot. Not far away, Johnny Lomo riding at 6. Paganelli spins and everybody tries to avoid him. Burt does, so does Malone. So Paganelli looking at everybody the wrong direction. And Eric Purdy almost got caught up in another altercation, was able to avoid it, but he is on pit road heading behind the wall, Ben.
But it appears that perhaps a little bit of contact was still made, and once again, Eric Byrne's bad luck still continues here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Paganelli literally got down on the grass, spun across the grass, tried to correct, came back across the racetrack right in the middle of the front pack of cars, even though he did a great job of holding on, and literally they were coming off turn number 4, and they were 3 wide. Some cars went high, some cars went low. Somehow, Paganelli's made it through the mix-up in the melee without being touched, with the exception of one car, which was the number 54 car of Eric Byrne that came in a little bit late, and minor contact was made, enough to send Eric Byrne back down on pit road. Bo Gunning's machine is looking to head down on pit road as we speak. Chuck Doherty's going back in for further adjustments here. Billy Anderson in and out of the pit area early in this event. He's coming on strong. Tommy Bowles now heading down on pit road. Mike Holdridge is also down on pit road. 58 and counting here at Stafford. Matt, let's set the field.
Okay, our leader is Brad Hightower, car number 9. Next door to him in second place, Mike Christopher. Then it's Doug Colby in third, Ronnie Silk in fourth. Fifth belongs to James Williams. Sixth to Johnny Lobo. That is our top 6 at this stage. Then it's Tucker Reynolds, currently riding in the 7th. And you had a preview of what was going to happen, Ben, when you said Tucker Reynolds was back in his old familiar car and he was going to be a force to be reckoned with. That was exactly the case. Emil Downey running 8th, Sean Tryon 9th, and in the 10th position, rounding out our top 10, I believe, looks like Donnie Travelin.
Let's check back in with Kyle Rickey.
Night for Eric Byrne. Won the heat race earlier this evening for qualifying for this event. Right front peeled back on car number 54, Eric Byrne. That's put him behind the wall here, just past the halfway mark. Bo Gunning is back out onto the track, as is Chuck Doherty and Mike Holdridge.
Well, off turn number 4, they're about ready to come back up through the gears and look for the green. As they come off turn number 4, Mike Christopher with Jimmy Galante's race car, one that Teddy Christopher already put into victory lane on 2 occasions here in 2002. But Brad Hightower is the man who is the dominant car to reckon with at the point. In position number 1, Ronnie Silk is right there now with Mike Christopher. Tap to the bumper. Here they come off turn 4.
Hightower with another great restart, but look at Ronnie Silk. He's putting the pressure on Mike Christopher in that number 2 spot. They are nose to tail coming out of 2, and Doug Colby is going to get himself right into that picture too.
But the man in the middle, Mike Christopher, he's got Hightower ahead of him and Ronnie Silk behind him. Silk looks like he has something going for himself on the bottom of the track. The most consistent and hottest driver in the last 3 weeks, and he has maintained that tradition tonight.
And look who has emerged in 5th place now. Frank Wainwright, one of our point leaders, right in the mix now as he booms down the front stretch.
We talked to Wainwright earlier today. He said last week when he was leading the points going into the feature, he admits he was a little bit too cautious. Tonight, he says, I'm going to the front and I'm going to try to win this. That could put me back up front of the point standings. That might be the story here. Look at Mike Christopher. He comes off the turn high, tucks it down low, then pulls it right back center of the racetrack. He runs in the tire tracks of Hightower off turn 2.
And Hightower still with that spurt down the backstretch, fights off that challenge by Mike Christopher. Meanwhile, Kyle Rickey has this update.
Yeah, the bad luck for Kurt Brainerd in 2002 continues. He got a right front flat on the restart. That's why he slowed off of turn number 2. That tire has been changed and he's down and away.
4 drivers continue to be shoehorned at the top of the field. Hightower leading, Mike Christopher. He hasn't won at Stafford in quite a while, and he's hanging on to the back bumper of the 9 car. Ronnie Silk, Doug Colby. So we have 2 veterans, Christopher and Hightower, trying to hold off two upstarts, Silk and Kobe.
There's the challenge for the lead, down to the bottom of turn number 3. Lap number 67 will click off as they come back to the line. Position number 1, the man with a mission, Mike Christopher, will take over the number 1 spot. Back to second, Itella. Here comes Ronnie Silk, the youngster, godson of Randy LaJoy, tries to make the move, doesn't happen. Kobe is right back there, contending in the 4th spot. Back to the line they come. Leader still Christopher, Silk up the second.
A surge by the Hitala entry. Holds on to that number 3 spot.
So Christopher now has opened up a couple of car lengths lead over Ronnie Silk. It's amazing, Ben. In a 100-lap feature, we haven't had a dull moment in this race yet. We've had lead changes, action in the pack and in the back of the pack. And right now, Mike Christopher, he predicted before the race started he was going to win it. He is 31 laps away from making that prediction come true.
A little further back in the field, you see also that following Wainwright, who sets in the 5th spot, 6th is Williams, 7th position is Lobo, 8th spot is Tucker Reynolds, 9th is Sean Tryon, and unofficially in the 10th spot, we believe it is car number 19 for Donnie Travlin. Just out of the top 10, we've got Willie Hardy, Eddie Spires, Lloyd Agar, the 18 of Burrell, and the 23 of Larry Ross. 70 laps and counting here at Stafford.
And one of our major contenders for the title, Chuck Doherty, onto pit road again. You can see problems still with the right front of that machine.
He started the night just 6 points behind Bo Gunning in a race for the track championship, but he has had a miserable last 30 laps or so. But the man who's having a picnic right now at the front of the field is Mike Christopher. You know, like Ben, I guess it would take a special kind of driver to come in into a strange car that he really hasn't driven before. He practiced with it on one occasion, and an unfamiliar vehicle, and ride it this impressively, he really has to be a very talented driver.
Interestingly enough, Jim Galante, the man that owns the number 13 car, the original driver for him was Mike Christopher. The combination didn't work. That's the story that Mike Christopher told then. He vacated the ride, Teddy Christopher stepped in, and the rest of the story is success. One twin brother made it happen. The other perhaps regrets the move, but there's no regrets right now as Mike Christopher is the dominant car up front. He leads Ronnie Silk and Brad Hitella, and Doug Colby just 2 laps shy of the 3/4 marker in this event.
Coming on slower traffic now. However, it doesn't appear to be a problem. They work their way past one machine, now closing in on the Jay Miller, number 09, down the backstretch, and Silk still hanging right there.
Well, Ronnie Silk hasn't run too many 100-lap races at Stafford, while Mike Christopher has run a bundle. Ben, do you think that experience that Christopher has is going to work out in his favor?
You know, Ronnie Silk's father is the man that turns all the wrenches on the number 83 car. He, of course, was best friends with Randy LaJoy. And strategy and running extra distance events is a story of success for this team, even though Mike Christopher is pumped up here tonight. He knows that a win in this race car would not only be impressive for him, but equally as impressive for Jimmy Galante, who is the car owner. So Galante's machine is still dominant at the front. We are now on lap number 76. Let's set the field for you. Mike Christopher leads. Ronnie Silk is second. Brad Hitella is third. And we've got a yellow Willie Hardy. If it wasn't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. It appears that his Nerf bar is wedged down on the racetrack and was sparking. That brings out yet another yellow on lap number 77.
Right, Ben. It appeared he and Larry Ross made contact. Ross went sliding across the grass on the backstretch. However, he appears to be okay as he motors by the start-finish line in the blue number 23. Brad Hitella has really been putting the pressure back on Ronnie Silk in that battle for the number 2 spot behind Mike Christopher. So we'll keep an eye on that one. As we know, Hitella has been doing great on these restarts. Let's see what he has in store this time. He'll be on the inside of the second row.
Well, Raleigh, though, if you want to ever play the lottery, the 2 people you don't want to go to the convenience store to get your tickets for you are Willie Hardy and Eric Byrne. Because every week it appears they have fast cars and they look like they're going to have impressive nights, and then something happens beyond their control and they wind up spending most of the evening on pit road. The same script has prevailed tonight for both of those drivers. It looks like a mistake in the point standing, seeing those two guys so low, but 2002 has not been kind to either one of them.
Look at the action that is going on pit road on the number 78, the Chuck Doherty race car. They are literally changing a lower A-frame on that race car. You can see there's 3 men working very feverishly at the front of the machine. Let's go back down to Kyle Rickey.
Willie Hardy, involved in the incident on the back straightaway, has made it to pit road. And again, same story that we've mentioned a few times tonight. The Nerf bar rubbing against the right rear tire. They have moved the Nerf bar now back a couple of inches, and looks like the work about complete on the Willie Hardy car. He'll head back out onto the speedway. Mike Holdridge also on pit road. They'll check the stagger on his right rear, and Emil Downey back in the pit lane in car number 57.
Well, there's 20 laps remaining in this event as they head beneath the Diamond Vision screen down the back straightaway. Still in command, car number 13 for Mike Christopher, alongside Ronnie Silk with the number 83 machine. Row number 2, it is Brad Heitella, Doug Colby. Row number 3, Wainwright and Williams. Row number 4, it is Lobo, alongside of Lobo. Right there to contend, as we're about ready to go back to green flag competition, is Tucker Reynolds. And then we have the Sean Tryon machine, car number 20, with the Donnie Travelin number 19. Donnie Travelin's come from the back of the pack, back up to the front as well. So he's doing a fine job here tonight as well.
Absolutely. Here we come now. Let's see how this one goes. Mike Christopher getting a slight jump on Ronnie Silk, but keep an eye on Heitella. He's right there on Christopher's back bumper. Maybe he can sneak on through. Let's see what he can do.
Heitella has had plenty of staying power tonight as now he gets even with Ronnie Silk. They roar into turn 4. 3 guys challenging for the lead.
Ronnie Silk is running the high side of the racetrack. There is contact. Heitella, Silk, Colby, and Wainwright and Brad Heitella have made contact after the fact.
You can see Heitella's left front wheel pointing to the far left, so apparently front end damage on the number 9. That's really a shame. Those two gentlemen were putting on one heck of a battle all night long.
They sure were. It all happened down the front straightaway here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Ronnie Silk, Brad Heitella, they were all running for the same print on the racetrack. A little contact was made. Got things crossed up. Everybody scrambled for positions here. Ronnie Silk's car literally spun to the bottom of the racetrack. It is now setting down on pit road. Let's check in with Kyle Rickey on the story for Ronnie Silk in car number 83.
It'll be a left side tire change for Ronnie Silk as he has made it to pit road. Right now, the only car that has made it to the pit lane out of the numerous entries involved in the turn 1 incident. Silk remains on pit road. They continue to work on the left rear of car number 83.
And also Doug Colby suffering as a result of that incident. He has a flat right rear tire as he tried to avoid making contact with the cars in front of him. And he will be heading onto pit road. Silk is away. Very quick stop. And Silk will pick up at the rear. One of our gentlemen is not making a substantial progress, but now, as a result of this restart, he has worked his way up just a little bit. Our point leader, Bo Gunning, in the number 17, just outside the top 10 now.
Doug Colby's car heading down to pit road. It's got a flat right rear tire. That was a car among the top 5. Let's tell you how they stand. This is lap number 84 as it clicks off on the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. Mike Christopher is your leader. The 44 of Frank Wainwright is second. James Williams is third, the 00. Johnny Lobo is fourth. Fifth position is Tucker Reynolds. Sixth spot is Sean Tryon. In the 7th spot, it is Donnie Travelin. This is all unofficial now. Alongside of Donnie Travelin in the 8th position is the 76 of Tommy Bowles. 9th spot unofficially is Lloyd Agar. Rounding out the top 10 unofficially is the 85 of Eddie Spires. Ronnie Silk's looking to return to the competition with car number 83.
But the laps are running out for Ronnie Silk. When they cross the stripe, the cars are at the backstretch now, and when they cross the stripe, they'll have 15 laps to go as we go back to Kyle.
Quickly, before we go back to green, Doug Colby remains in the pit lane trying to get the right rear tire off of the number 2 Extra Mart convenience store's entry. Sledgehammer is now being used to assist in the process, so it could be a good night gone bad here for Doug Kobe.
Well, the field is doubled up. They head off turn number 4, looking for the start. 84 to the 100 laps are down, and Matt had mentioned while we were off the air how fast the pace has been in this 100 lap event. And Mike Christopher is showing just how fast. He's out in front. Here comes Williams. He'll take over second. And look at Tucker Reynolds.
Yes,
He's into the top 5.
Absolutely. Wainwright overtaken by Williams. As we said earlier, Williams loves these long distance runs, and he's showing it right now. Let's see if he's got anything left for Mike Christopher.
Mike Christopher has not won at Stafford in more than 2 years. His last victory was April 29th, 2000. He is 13 laps away from ending that dry spell, but he has to battle against a guy whose car is set up to go long distances, James Williams in the Dunkin' Donuts machine.
Look at the battle between Tucker Reynolds and Wainwright with the number 44 car. Reynolds now moves into the 4th spot. He's all over the back bumper of the Smith Boilers machine. Things are starting now to get heated up in the battle for 3rd.
Wainwright, meanwhile, in the 44, starting to feel pressure from the 19 of Donnie Travelin, and a man we haven't heard from much tonight, Lloyd Agor, in the 22. Back in the pack, it's Larry Ross spinning to bring out a caution.
Larry Ross will spin up in turns 3 and 4. That'll bring out yet another yellow. 89 laps are now complete in this 100 lap event. Leader is still Mike Christopher with car number 13. James Williams sets in second, the 00. John Lobo, the Smith Boilers car, is in your 3rd spot. 4th spot is the number 34 of Tucker Reynolds. In the 5th spot, the 44 of Frank Wainwright. 6th spot, Donnie Travelin, car number 19. 7th spot, the number 22 of Lloyd Agar. 8th spot, the number 20 of Sean Tryon. 9th spot, and this is unofficial, is the number 18 of Jeff Burrill. And rounding out the top 10 is car number 76 of Tommy Bowles, followed by Bo Gunning with car number 17.
You know, Ben, some racers are won just as much in the paddock as they are on the racetrack.
So true.
Mike Christopher, after his second warm-up session, was not happy with the race car. They made some adjustments, and whatever they did, it was magic.
And that magic has been shown here each and every time around. We're looking for a restart here. Great run tonight. Hats off to James Williams with the 00 car and to Tucker Reynolds with the number 34 machine. Both of those competitors have shown consistent, strong runs, maintaining a spot among the top 5.
Well, here we go again, folks. You've seen some very interesting and exciting restarts. This has got to be the best one yet because only 10 laps remain.
And it's Mike Christopher getting the jump on Williams. Lobo enters the mix. 3 cars together. Now they head down to the backstretch, and Christopher has regained command.
Working the outside, Donnie Travelin trying for that number 5 spot. He overtakes Wainwright and takes that position away with car 19.
Little further back, here comes Lloyd Agar. He's coming to the front. He moves in now among the top 6 cars. But Mike Christopher is still your leader. Trouble, Ronnie Silk goes around in the mid-pack of cars. Involved is Emil Downey, and it looks like Gary Pelletier with the number 87 machine. That's going to bring out yet another yellow, 92 and counting here at Stafford.
Well, Ben, a rash of yellows during the closing laps of this one. Do you think perhaps maybe the tires are going away on some of those cars as they're not accustomed to going this many laps on a normal Friday night show?
That might appear to be the case with Frank Wainwright in particular. He's been fading in the last several laps. There's no doubt that he has the power under the hood, but apparently the handling or the tires are giving him a problem at the moment.
Well, the field's still under single file formation as they head down the back straightaway area. Kyle Rickey's been working hard down at Bitter Road. Kyle, do you have any other interesting points to pass along?
Things have been busy down here in the pit lane over the course of the last couple of laps, so although quiet now, looks like Kurt Brainerd may head back in along with Eddie Spires as they pull out a line in the back straightaway, and Mike Holdridge now back in the pit lane in car number 28 here in the waiting laps of this 100 lapper for the SK Modifieds.
You know, Ben, James Williams in car number 00, he has an interesting story how he got involved in racing. Most of these guys started when they were kids. Go-karts, dirt tracks, quarter midgets. James Williams did none of that. In fact, he did no driving at all. He decided one day he wanted to buy an SK modified. He bought it and started racing at Stafford. The progress was slow in the beginning, but eventually he got enough seat time, and he became a pretty good and pretty consistent driver. He said until he sat behind the wheel of an SK modified, the only driving he ever did was on his riding lawnmower, mowing his lawn. And he went from mowing his lawn to try to mow down Mike Christopher tonight during the final 6 laps of this one.
It's kind of like the old story of time to make the donuts now, isn't it? So down the back straightaway, they've doubled the field up. Mike Holdridge is coming back out of pit road. 94 of the 100 laps are into the record books here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The SK modified. And we've got trouble down the front straightaway. Larry Ross.
Bo Gunning involved.
And that's going to bring out the yellow chaser to the green. Bo Gunning does make a little contact. Look at the Diamond Vision screen. Shows you the gunning machine, and they'll double it back up, and we'll try it again. 95 of the 100 now complete.
So after 95 laps of some great racing, fast-paced, action-packed, it's really, Ben and Raleigh, come down to almost a drag race between Mike Christopher and James Williams. And also in this situation, you have to focus in on the guys in the second row, because you remember on opening weekend, it was Doug Colby with 2 laps left. He started 4th and wound up winning the race. So you can't count out either Johnny Lobo or Tucker Reynolds. And I don't know what you saw in Tucker Reynolds before the race, because about 5 hours ago, you said keep an eye on that car number 34, because he looks like he's going to be very tough to beat. And that's exactly what has transpired.
It sure has. Bo Gunning now down in pit road. A flat right rear tire is the story on car number 17. From the starter stand, we see the red-yellow flag combined being displayed to the field. That means that we are not counting laps at this point, with 96 laps and showing on the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. The scorers are checking the restart lineup while we check in with Kyle Rickey.
Car number 23, Larry Ross, just in for a stop. He is now exiting pit road. Will stay on the lead lap. The number 17 of Bo Gunning. He had such a good run going in the first half of this event. Had a top 5 car nearly all night. Got caught up in a mid-race caution. Now caught up in a late-race caution as the right rear being changed on car number 17 for Bo Gunning. Having a tough time getting the lugs on the right rear of Bo Gunning's car, losing valuable time here in the pit lane.
He sure does, as once again, checking with timing and scoring. It appears that now the field is readjusting itself. Larry Ross heading down on pit road. Red, yellow lights still remain on and flashing, an indication that these laps are not counting here at Stafford.
And that means we should have quite a cliffhanger here in this 100-lap feature. The yellow clenched flag being displayed by Tony Lucky. That means one more time around, we are going to go up to speed here to decide this one. The SK Modified 100 presented by Comfort Systems USA. And the guys who can't be too comfortable right now are the ones in the front. Mike Christopher, James Williams, Johnny Lobo, Tucker Reynolds. It is going to come down to a finish the way you would expect a 100-lapper, one of the biggest, most prestigious races of the year. This is the way we expected it to end.
It sure is. 96 complete. Lights are off on the safety vehicle at the point in this event. They pass beneath the CarQuest markings down the back straightaway. They'll pick up the pace just a bit in turn number 3. Getting ready and looking for the start. Larry Ross quickly heading off of pit road. He'll pick up at the rear of the field. Mike Christopher came here with a mission. That mission was to win tonight's 100-lap event. He currently sits in the number 1 spot.
What a jump by Mike Christopher on that restart. And hanging right with him, though, is Williams. Here comes Tucker Reynolds to take over that spot. Meanwhile, Frank Wainwright with a problem, fading fast. Apparently a tire going down as he wiggles down the backstretch. Bo Gunning sailing through the grass and right on up into the Paganelli car.
Well, on lap number 97, Wainwright appeared to have a right rear tire go soft on his machine coming off the second turn. He tried to bring the car down. Bo Gunning cut across, tried to hold the car to the bottom, went down through the grass, and slid back up onto the racetrack, making contact with the Paganelli number 21 machine. Now Gunning's car looking to head down at pit road. Nope, he decides to stay out, Matt.
But Bo Gunning, remember, he is going for the point championship. So I don't know for how much longer he'll stay out, but Bo made his decision this weekend by not joining the Featherlight Modified Series in Richmond. That his goal was to win the track championship. So apparently, maybe he wants to stay out and try to gain as many spots as he can. And now it appears that he is headed onto pit road.
Paganelli's car also heading down to pit road. You see that car is literally crabbing, is what we refer to, as it's going literally sideways with severe damage done to the rear suspension of the car. The rear end literally has been pulled back at least 6 to 8 inches on the left-hand side. There's the 17 of Bo Gunning. Front bumper, instead of being center at the front of the race car, is literally swayed way over to the left-hand side and was rubbing on the left front wheel.
Well, Ben, the lap count now is 99, but that's insignificant because we are going to have a green-white checker to determine our champion in the SK Modified 100.
Wainwright puts on a right rear tire, and the Wist Tablets number 44 is also looking to rejoin in the competition here.
That's really going to scramble of the point standings tonight. Remember, Gunning had the lead. Doherty was only 6 out. Wainwright was 8 out. Ronnie Silk 16 out. And all those top 4 guys who have had trouble tonight, the only one among our leaders who really hasn't had any difficulty was Lloyd Agor, and he currently sits in 11th place.
Down into turn number 3. Lights are off on the safety vehicle. Molly, it looks like we're going to restart one more time.
Hang on to your hats, folks. It's shootout time. Gunfight at the OK Corral. Here we go. Bo Gunning trying to find his spot in the lineup, trying to pick up as many positions as he can in these final 2 laps. Here they come. Once again, Mike Christopher with an excellent start. But look at Lobo. He's working that inside, trying to take that second spot away. Good recovery by Williams. Regains that second spot. A little shuffling going on, a little contact, but everybody going in the right direction.
Look at Tucker Reynolds. He's up to the 3rd spot. Here they come. Back down to the line. The white flag is out.
1 lap away. Mike Christopher from his first win in more than 2 years. Does Johnny Lobo or Williams have enough ammunition to shoot down Christopher as they head to turn 3?
Well, they say it's in your blood. He's a twin brother of Ted Christopher. Good twin, evil twin. Back to the line. The good twin's got himself a win here at Stafford.
Well, his many fans happy about that one. You can certainly tell it was a popular victory for Mike Christopher back in the winner's circle.
Batting 1,000 here in 2002. 1 start and 1 win for Mike Christopher, and we'll get a word with him in just a moment. Fine folks from the New England Sports Network are going to step in. Jimmy Williams over to congratulate him, driving the 00 Dunkin' Donuts entry. Runner-up finish for Williams here tonight. We'll get a word with him in a moment as well, and a great run for Tucker Reynolds Jr. in car number 34. All 3 drivers had to come from deep in the field to earn podium finishes here this afternoon, and we'll talk with all 3 of them in just a moment.
Okay, Kyle, we'll wait to see Mike Christopher out of that car in just a moment. Let's remind you that Stafford Motor Speedway SK Modified contingency partners include CarQuest Auto Parts, All-American Auto Glass, Dillon Ford Sales and Service, and New England Racing Fuel Sunoco brand. Well, things shaping up very nicely in victory lane. There is the sign indicating tonight's presenter of this competition, Comfort Systems USA Hartford. Now let's go back down to victory lane. Mike out of the car.
Mike out of the car, going to talk with Kim Hart from the New England Sports Network, and then we'll jump in just a moment and get a word from Mike Christopher. Started 20th. Stayed patient, stayed out of trouble, and claimed the win here this evening, held off some of the best in the business. Jimmy Williams, Tucker Reynolds Jr., one of the young guns, having a great run here this evening. Some of the early favorites had trouble mid-race. Doug Kobe, Bo Gunning, just to name a couple. Win number 27 for Mike Christopher as the celebration begins to take place here. CarQuest Victory Lane. And a return visit. Mike Christopher back here at Stafford Motor Speedway and back in fine style. And we'll jump in here in just a moment and get a word with him. Crew begins to gather around here trackside along with some of the fans, family and friends. Of course, his brother Ted Christopher down at the Richmond International Raceway in tonight's NASCAR Fellow Modified event. Twin brother Mike is here, and Mike, congratulations. Welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway. First time in over 2 years you've been down here.
It's been that long, huh?
Feel the same?
Oh, yeah, it's always the same. Whenever you win, it's great.
Talk about patience, obviously a key tonight, and experience. You started 20th. You got around some of those incidents, took the lead late in the race.
I mean, honestly, we were fortunate, too. You know, we missed a lot of stuff. But, when you tour race, you kind of play a heads-up game, so that's where you learn a lot of patience. And, those guys kind of killed themselves before we even, had a chance to get to them pass. I mean, we did pass some guys pretty good, and I think we had a car probably capable of at least, running to the front and challenging, without having those kind of incidents. But, I mean, hey, we were fortunate enough that everything fell our way. We missed a lot of stuff, and the car was just flawless. I mean, it was a little loose when we started, and then it just came around where it was just really, really, really great to drive.
How tough is it to jump in a car that you haven't driven in a while? A couple of practice laps, you had a heat race, and then it was feature time.
Yeah, that's about all you need, I mean, it just comes natural. It's the same stuff all the time,
Talk about the pass to the lead on lap number 65.
When I went around Brad, yeah, he was tight, and I knew it if he gave me a little bit that he'd have to slow himself down enough, down the bottom, and we were good up on the outside. We were good everywhere, we were real good up on the outside, and I said, I know if we can get the bite up there, we're going to go, and we did. The track was excellent, Jack wrote, thanks, man. The facility's awesome. The track is still great to race on. It's a lot of fun.
And Mike, once again, congratulations on the win here tonight in the SK Modified 100, presented by Comfort Systems USA in Hartford.